In this video, I'm gonna show you how to install the crossover symmetry anchors. Okay, we're gonna talk about just your standard setup, and I'm gonna demo on a wall with wood studs. Okay, this is gonna be your most common installation, but later on in this video, I'll show you additional ways that you can set them up. Okay, so let's start out with the equipment you're going to need for this project. The screws that come with the anchors are 5/16 inch. Okay, so before you put those in the wall, you're gonna need to pre-drill holes. I'm going to use an electric drill with a 7/32 inch drill bit to pre-drill my holes. Once you have your holes pre-drilled, you're ready to install your anchors. I'm gonna use a socket wrench. You can also use an adjustable wrench if that's all you have. But the size for my wrench is going to be 13 millimeters, or you can use a 1/2 inch. And you're gonna need tape measure, and pencil, so you can lay everything out. And safety first, grab a pair of glasses. All right, let's lay out the installation. So the first question we always get is, how high should I mount the anchors? Now, we recommend that you need to use the system from eye level or above. So if you're the only one who's gonna be on this station, okay, just put it at your height and you're gonna be good to go. But for a lot of you, you're gonna have people of different heights who want to use the station. So for that, I would recommend you install it to the height of the tallest person who's going to use it, and that's gonna work for everyone shorter than them. We have standard installation instructions that come with this. And so that's measuring from the floor to the bottom of the anchor. For the upper anchors, you're going to install that at 70 inches. And then for the lower anchors, you're gonna install those at 14 inches. Next is, how far apart should you space the anchors? We recommend installing them 4 feet apart because that is gonna fit the standard stud spacing for most walls. Now you can go as narrow as 3 feet or as wide as 5 feet. Okay, so to do that, I would create a horizontal brace using some wood and installing that into your wall, and then putting your anchors into that horizontal brace. Now, if you're gonna be installing multiple stations, you need to create spacing between each station. So this is important because as people are going through the programs, you don't want them running into hands into the person that's next to them. And we've seen this before where people try to use a single anchor for a station to the right and to the left, and that always causes problems because people just run into each other. All right, let's jump into it. First thing you're gonna do is find and locate your studs. Next, I'm gonna measure out the height of my upper and lower anchors. I'm gonna use our standard installation of 70 inches for the upper and 14 inches for the lower. But as we talked about earlier, you're gonna measure it out to the height of your tallest athlete. Once you have your heights figured out, you're gonna take your anchor, put it at the mark, and then make holes where you're gonna pre-drill. Now it's time to make some holes. I'm using a 7/32 inch drill bit to pre-drill holes in my wall. All right, now it's time to install my anchors. I'm going to use a socket set. It's a 1/2 inch socket. Okay, you're gonna have 2 screws, one for the top, one for the bottom. All right, when you're done with that, give the anchor a firm tug. Make sure it's in the wall, strong and secure. Now you're ready to set your cords up and get moving. Next, let's talk about a few alternate installations. These are not as common, but they do show up. The first is going to be metal stud behind the wall. So if you find you have metal studs, you are going to use the toggle bolts. These come with your installation hardware. You're going to drill a 1/2 inch pilot hole. You may need to size that up just a little bit more to fit the corners of this toggle bolt in there. But then as you put it through that hole in the metal stud, it expands open, and then when you tighten it down, it pulls it tight or flush to the wall. Okay, so this is gonna be great installation options if you have a metal stud. Now let's talk about installation into brick, masonry, or other materials. If you're gonna put this into something like that, we first recommend getting professional installation because it's really good to have additional knowledge about material densities and thicknesses to install these perfectly. Now, if you're resourceful and you're gonna go for it, you need to go to a hardware store and pick up a set of these. Okay, this is called a lag shields. I'm gonna use 5/16 lag shields. Okay, you're going to pre-drill a hole, and then the lag shields are gonna go inside of that hole. So when you mount your screws inside the lag shield, it is going to spread apart and push into the outside part of the hole, creating a secure mount. Okay, so 5/16 lag shield for brick, concrete, or masonry. Now we're gonna talk about installation into a squat stand. Okay, so for this, you need hole spacing. It's gonna be 2 inches apart. So that's gonna fit your top and your bottom holes. And you're going to use the toggle bolts that were included with your installation hardware. So this is going to be your screw, followed by the washer. You're gonna put the anchor through there, and then you're gonna put the toggle nut on the back of it. Okay, so now, the toggle nut is gonna fold tight. You're going to put it into the hole at the correct height. And then as you get it through, it'll expand out. And now you just need to tighten it down for it to fit snug to your squat stand. So once you have your top and your bottom installed, you're gonna pull out on it so it pulls that toggle nut flush to the inside of the rack. And now you're ready to screw it in tight. So once you get your anchor installed, it's semi-permanent. Okay? So you can take these off, but you're going to lose the toggle nut inside of that 4x4 post. So if you can lift it up and pull it out the bottom, you'll be good to go. You can use them again. But if your rack is mounted to the floor, consider that thing lost and gone until you decide to move your rack. So when you put these in, consider how long you're gonna need them and wanna keep them there.